If you're a gamer, you've definitely had that thought, right? Man, I could make a game like this, but I do this differently. Well, today, we're going to talk about how to turn that thought into a real thing. We're mapping out the journey from player to creator.
So let's just start right there. Have you ever been deep in a game, totally immersed, and just wished you could build your own world, your own story, your own rules? If that's you, you are not alone. You're actually in very, very good company. Because that feeling, that little spark of an idea while you're playing, that's the origin story for pretty much every professional in the industry. It all starts with the love for playing and a little bit of curiosity about creating. So that dream you have, it's not just some fantasy. It's the first step on the path. And this is something you really have to get. All those years you spent gaming, that wasn't just a hobby, it was research. You have this built-in, instinctual knowledge of what feels fun, what's frustrating, and what makes a game totally addictive. Game development isn't just about code, It's about the player experience, and you're already an expert in that.
But this is usually where the fear creeps in. That little voice in your head that says you can't do it, that you're missing something, like a ton of money, or you're not a coding genius, or you can't even draw a stick figure. So you know what? Let's just tackle those fears head on.
Let's just bust some of these huge myths right now. You think you need a giant budget? Nope. The reality is, incredibly powerful game engines like Unity and Unreal are completely free to get started with. Think you have to be some kind of coding prodigy? Not at all. You can learn languages like C# or C++, one piece at a time. And what about not being an artist? Well, the internet is overflowing with free art and sound assets to get you off the ground. Seriously, the barriers to get started have never been lower.
It's also really important to get your mindset right. Your very first project does not need to be the next epic 100-hour RPG. In fact, it shouldn't be. It should be something small, a super simple runner game, a clone of Flappy Bird, a basic platformer. Why? Because these small projects teach you all the fundamentals, like physics, scoring, player movement, and most importantly, they give you that incredible feeling of actually finishing a game.
So, now that we've hopefully pushed those fears aside, let's zoom out a little bit. What does game development even mean? It's a way bigger and more interesting world than you might think. At its heart, game development is the entire process, from that first spark of an idea all the way to releasing it. It's this beautiful mix of art, narrative design, and the technical programming that holds it all together. It's really about turning an idea into something someone can actually play and experience. And here's the cool thing. It's almost always a team sport. Just look at some of the roles involved here. You've got game designers who create the rules, narrative designers who write the story, artists who build the visual world, and sound designers who make it all come alive. Then you have testers, producers, the list goes on. The big takeaway here is that you don't have to do it all yourself. You can find the one spot that perfectly matches your skills. Okay, so you're feeling inspired, you see the possibilities, but how do you actually start? Where's the path? Well, here it is. We've got a practical 7-step roadmap to guide you.
So, the path looks kinda like this. First, you deepen your understanding just by playing everything. Indies, classics, stuff you normally wouldn't touch. Then you start to educate yourself, whether that's in college or with online courses. You start developing those technical skills and immediately put them to use by starting small. Join a game jam, build a tiny project. As you finish things, you're building a portfolio. And all along the way, you're networking, talking to people, and looking for real experience through internships or freelance gigs. See, it's a clear, totally manageable process.
This brings up a really common question, especially when we talk about that educate yourself step. If you do decide to go the formal route, what should you even study? Is there a right degree?
Well, the options are actually super diverse. A specific degree in game software development is obviously a very direct path, but a bachelor's in computer science or software engineering gives you this rock-solid technical foundation. If you're more drawn to the visual side of things, a degree in animation or graphics is perfect. And hey, don't forget, degrees in business or marketing are absolutely crucial for the production and sales side of the whole industry.
Okay, so we've covered the fears, the different roles, the roadmap. But honestly, the most important part of this whole journey is the internal change, the transformation that happens inside your head when you finally take that first step.
This is the magic part. The moment you finish your first tiny project, even if it's super simple, your relationship with games just changes forever. You'll suddenly start noticing the clever level design in an old platformer or question why the enemies were placed a certain way in a shooter. Playing games isn't just about consumption anymore, it becomes a form of study. It's like you can suddenly see the code in the matrix. And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful idea of all. All those thousands of hours you spent with a controller in your hand, that wasn't just for fun. That was training. You've been building this massive, intuitive library in your brain of what works, what doesn't, and what makes a game truly unforgettable. You already have the insight. Now it's just about learning the tools to express it.
So let's leave you with this thought. Every single person who has ever made a game that you love started out exactly where you are right now. Just a gamer with an idea. The only thing separating you from them is that they took the first step. The real question is, are you ready to take yours?